Earth is facing a crisis that we did not see coming, a crisis that we cannot stop. An unknown threat from outer space is heading our way. An external cosmic influence triggers changes within our planet. The core is going mad. Catastrophes on Earth are escalating, and we are totally unprepared. The world is divided. Some want to compete. Some want to fight. Some want to escape. But none of them can agree on what to do to prevent the impending global catastrophe that can destroy the whole civilization. The only way to stop this threat is to unite world's best scientists. But in a world where war and power are the only rules, that is impossible. There is a plan A and a plan B, but both plans are risky. Both plans are uncertain. Both plans demand a price. A price that will change our lives and the fate of humanity forever. It is time for us to pay the price. Now it is your turn to take action.
Today we have Anastasia, who will basically I'm glad, of course, to have you back, but for our listener, some of them is the first time. So I would like to introduce you and let you basically know who you are and what you're doing so that our listeners and viewers uh, get, a picture of who you are. Hello, how are you and welcome to our program.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning or like good afternoon. It's a morning in the United States, and I'm really happy to be back to your programs. So my name is Anastasia Pashigreva. I'm a scientist, and I'm living right now and working in the United States, and I have PhD in chemistry, and I work like my major topic. I work in the new technology developments, and for last 4 years, I'm also the part of the biggest analytical group who is analyzing the natural disasters and climate change for the Creative Society project. And this is the most successful analytical group. We do daily monitoring for natural disasters. We analyze the trends. We interview the most prominent scientists who are studying climate change right now. And like we are the first group who is essentially brought to this attention increase in the seismic activity. And we like openly start discuss this topic of the 12,000 year cycle and how it affects our countries and what we should expect.
Thank you very much. Today we're speaking about something something very specific, and I would like you to tell us the background of this trend. What is happening, and why are we talking about that today?
So, like, I think this is one of the most important topics we really people need to address and understand that the natural disasters and like current climate change is the biggest threat. But it's not because we are pushing for kind of like more taxes but because we analyze the trends and we see that it's like thousands of people are getting displaced, they getting evacuated because of the natural disasters, and the majority of people simply don't have information on what's going on in the world about the scale of the disasters. And a lot of people really they strike by the disaster, and this is the moment then they start to understand that something is not normal. And what we really would like people to encourage to learn more about what's going on on the planet, how to be prepared, what we all need to do, and what are the reasons behind. And if we talk about the reasons behind, then it's definitely there is important knowledge about 12,000 year cycle that in 2024 we entered this planetary cycle of catastrophes, and starting from 2024 the disasters get stronger and stronger and more intensive, and they impact more and more people.
So, what are the specific data points indicate the exponential rise in parameters of the of billion-dollar disaster, surf, storm, seism, seismic, and activity of the ocean, it's what is really happened? How you manage the data, and what do those data tell us?
So like the data really, a lot of data right now we analyze, they show exponential growth. And it means it is the growth when things are like start to skyrocketing. And as you said, is that we observe it in the rising of the cost of the disasters, in the seismic activity, in the ocean temperature, and a lot of other parameters like volcanic activity, like all earthquake activity for the volcanoes, it also goes exponential. And so like this exponential trend is essentially natural trend for how things are developing in nature. If we take this simply, if we come to the example of the like cells division into then the cells start from like one, then it get two, and then to four, and then it kind of like this is the exponential growth. And all natural disasters, all natural processes, they develop in according to this exponential progression. But like the reason for that is laying inside of our planet, and this is like these changes are associated with the changes, significant changes in the Earth core, and then like this currently the Earth core is destabilized and it's overheated, and then this heat is transferred to the magma, and then magma starts to rise, and it's pushing the earth crust. We observe a lot of earthquakes, a lot of faults. Like in Africa, this development of this like split of Africa into two continents, it's a kind of like the process which is developing extremely fast, and that is associated with the magma rising. And then like at the same time, all other disasters like floods, droughts, and like volcanic activity, hurricanes, heating of the ocean, that's all is driven from inside of the planet. And this is definitely like rising threat. And the fact that it's developing so fast, it's really give us very little time for preparation.
Yes, but saying that like that is a bit scary. So what do you foresee in the next coming years in terms of all this energy? We see all those change, magma and stuff. Will you say that if we don't take it serious today, we might see some continent disappear, or might we see some, more bigger catastrophe?
So we definitely, since we are in 12,000 year cycle, we are definitely go, going to face much more serious events than we observe right now. And like this exponential growth really says that intensity is increasing. So what we are expecting in the nearest years, or in the coming months, we are talking that the scientists already talking that the ocean is getting record temperatures, and it is expected for, like, for example, for us, that in the North America, that the hurricane season is expected to start sooner. Usually it was starting in the end of July, August. Now it's a kind of expected sooner. So like Africa is also surrounded by oceans, and so it means that you already, so many countries were hit by these cyclones, hurricanes, and so this trend is going to continue, and the hurricanes are going to be stronger. So what we observe for hurricanes is that the intensification, like then the the hurricane of the category 1 then turns into the category 5 within less than 12 hours, and it really does not give time for preparation. It does not give time for evacuation. Just people go to sleep at night thinking that nothing is going on, and then in the morning they wake up and they see like huge hurricane in front of them. And these kind of events, they will become more and more often. And like if you talk about the hurricane, for example, it's already, before it was the scale up, including five like different ranks for hurricane. Now we are coming to this definition of a 6 category hurricane with much stronger winds. So this is one thing. Another thing is that it's increase in the seismic activity. we do see that seismic activity is increasing significantly. And around Africa, like we started to see very unusual earthquakes around around the Red Sea. Then like it was this Morocco earthquake last year. It was very strong earthquake. No one was expecting that strong earthquake in Morocco, and like that happened. So like we are expecting that it will be even more. Then continuation of the Africa split, and then enormous floods. So enormous floods, they are not only brought by the cyclones, but also these enormous floods will be just brought by heavy rains, by heavy precipitation. And like this is one of the very high risk factors, like because when flooding is happening, it destroys houses, it destroys the food, it destroys like a lot of agricultural lands. And then it's also like while water stays there, this is a good foundation for any, not good foundation, it's just like the reason for fast disease spreads. So, and all this that we are going to face in the nearest month and like nearest like years, but in the end, it will be much more earthquakes, much more hurricanes. And as you said, yes, there are like I cannot say that the continents will disappear, but definitely like islands and the parts of the continents are going to be disappearing.
So will we say that, can we attribute those disasters and the fact that the core change to human behavior? That's the first question that we would like to impose on you. And the second, I will say that we see the current system speaking about preserving the fauna and flora of Africa. They ask some region of Africa to stop wood exploitation and all these things. Do you think that such behavior might assist to to put in order the planet, or it's just a waste of time?
So here is a kind of the question is that I described that everything is starting from the Earth core, and it's all driven kind of by heated magma. And the reason for that, it is this cosmic influence which affect the Earth core. So this is a major driver for current climate change and disasters. But at the same time, like how we treat our planet is really a harmful way. And one of the reasons why right now we have this enormous escalation of the disasters is the human activity, and mainly this human activity is associated with the ocean contamination. So like I don't know like how much you are exposed to these like dirty ocean things, but like the biggest problem is that a lot of garbage really goes to the ocean. And the most disturbing part is that all plastic which is not cannot be like biodegrade or decompose, it is all ended up in the ocean. And this plastic is essentially what is doing is that in the ocean, it chips into the super tiny particles, and this ocean kind of starts to absorb heat. So like all this heat which comes from magma is stays in the ocean, and ocean gets even more. And then we have this heated ocean, we have like more enormous hurricanes, cyclones, then we have all these strong winds, enormous precipitation, enormous hail, and this is all anthropogenic activity. So like on one side, we should understand that there is a natural factor, like 12,000 year cycle, which it doesn't depend on us. But another part is that we do contaminate the nature, and we should put as one of the priorities is that cleaning of the nature, cleaning of the ocean, but at the same time, like this requires really collaboration on international level. And if I just one day decide to stop throwing out my plastic garbage and I don't know to use all I don't know fully recyclable things, that will not help. That is a kind of bigger problem we need to address altogether.
So would you say that, like I would like to go to this angle because, like I said previously, a lot of international organizations encourage African to preserve the tropical forest. Like, is that a way to slow it down, or it doesn't have anything to do with that? That is what I want to find from the scientific community. If we cut those trees, or if you don't cut those trees, does it impact and does it contribute to the acceleration of those phenomena?
To my knowledge is that stop cutting trees, that would not make so much impact on the climate. So it's from my perspective that like the trees itself, they would not stop these disasters.
Okay, so going forward, we're speaking about, we see an amount of disaster. Will you say that they are all connected? If yes, how?
So they are all
Yeah.
definitely connected. And what kind of disasters like you are mostly interested? I can describe how they are connected.
What will you say as a creative society in terms of, because you call a lot of scientific, African scientific and other scientific to get together to try to find solutions to maybe not stop. That's why my next question will be, can it be stopped? Can the 12 years cycle be stopped or can be reduced? What is the real story at this point?
So yes, that we right now the understanding is that the cycle is caused by the external cosmic influence. This is a kind of cosmic energy which is coming every 12,000 years because like way how our galaxy moves, and this energy is affecting now all planets in the solar system. And we observe changes not only on Earth, we observe changes on all other planets in the solar system, including the sun. And we understand right now, the current understanding is that this energy is working so that it impacts only the Earth core. And so like essentially this is a physical process. And in order to stop this cycle, we really need to find the way how to protect the planet, how to shield the planet against this energy. And in order to do this, we really need, first of all, to understand deeply how this energy works, and then how to build protection. And like this all work requires a lot of expertise in quantum physics and a lot of like really top specialists from this area. And so like one of the purposes that one of our messages is that people really should know that this thing can be stopped. But in order to do this, we really need to create conditions so that these scientists would come together. And at the current situation, then people have no idea about what's going on in the world, how serious the disasters, like that they don't know about 12,000 year cycle. This will be impossible because the scientists who can solve the problem, they simply not aware that this problem is existing. And here where we are coming to, and where like Impulse Radio doing really great job on informing people, talking to everybody, that the disasters are rising. This is our big problem. We really need to understand about it. We need to share about it. We need to this need to be like top priority, main topic for discussion. And once this will happen, everybody in the world will understand that this is a problem. We need to solve it, and this is solvable. We need to put our scientists together. And this is also like we need to share that this is something what can be solved. But this is impossible if all of us will not be sharing this information.
Yeah, sharing information is very important and crucial at this stage. And like what we do at Impulse Radio in partner with, of course, Creative Society. But sharing is some kind in Africa, something difficult because of the, the capacity to join, work, surviving in the, in the reality of the land, and also get knowledge. And that is very important. So let's go, and before you go to our commercial break, speaking about the heat, we see ocean overheating. So please, can you basically elaborate about that and tell us how far can this heat might go, and what will be the consequence, direct consequence on our daily lives?
So like the ocean heating, this is one of the biggest factors, and this is definitely needs to be considered seriously because it's a kind of foundation for all disasters we've seen right now. the ocean covers like 70% of our planet. And if the ocean is heating, it means that all entire planet is heating. And right now, every day we see the new temperature record for the ocean. So like the first of all, the heated ocean, as we know, like if we heat water, it starts evaporating, right? And then given a lot of this like water vapor, and a lot of this water vapors goes to the atmosphere. Then this in the atmosphere, like when it's cooling down, it turns into the rain. So the more water evaporates from ocean, the more rain we will be getting or inland. So like all these floodings, what we right now see in Africa, and this is the result of this like enormous ocean cooling or enormous ocean heating, sorry. So another thing is that heated ocean is a fuel for the hurricanes. So the hurricanes is taking this energy from ocean in order to get stronger. And the higher will be temperature of the ocean, the faster hurricanes will be formed and faster they will intensify. And that means that Africa and we all will have more hurricanes, more powerful hurricanes. These hurricanes will live longer. If before like hurricane would be hitting the land, like arriving to the land and then weakening very fast, now the hurricanes like come into the land and then they have enough power in order to travel longer distances. And it means that this area which were never exposed to these cyclones or hurricanes, they would be facing more and more of these hurricanes. So another thing is that what we observe is that like crazy winds and crazy storms. I think it's right now in Algeria, in Morocco, we see this like orange sky with a lot of dust in it. And I don't know, like we here in the United States and we see in many other countries that winds are getting stronger. Sometimes I'm driving the car and like really my car is a kind of, I feel that on the bridges, it's a kind of like blowing away. And that will get worse because like warm air, like warm and humid air, it's a kind of more it's when it is coming, it is lighter, density is lighter, and then it goes up, it creates like conditions for stronger winds. So, and then this enormous snow, that's also effect of the evaporation, that right now that cooling of the air is happening in the differently, and we have enormous snows. I think in South Africa, you were also like observing this like record snows, and that's going to be get worse. Another thing, hail, like these huge hail reports, this become like a new norm. And we observe that hail sizes is increasing. And that's again like this humid air, which is stronger winds. It keeps this hail more on the top. The hail grows bigger. And right now, I think our record is about 17 centimeter of a hail. It was in Italy. And that's going to be even bigger and bigger. So like this apple-sized hail is we observe at every region right now. So it's just it and that's all related to the ocean heating. It's a kind of like one of the key factors. Therefore, like I was saying that in order to reduce the risks, we really need to start cleaning the ocean from this microplastic because that will really reduce the ability of ocean to absorb so much heat.
So we all are aware that we're not the only species living on this planet. So what will you say about the ocean, the livestock of the ocean? What will happen to them? Does it mean that at one point we might also run out of sea or water livestock?
Yeah, that's a really great question because yes, one of the parameters which is really showing that what's happening right now with the ocean was never happening before. It is the corals bleaching, that kind of the corals, these are the organisms which are designed in order to survive these cycles and spikes in temperature. And in all previous times, this temperature was spiking, but to like up to 15 degrees C, but corals were surviving. But this time we really see that the corals goes through these like accelerating bleaching cycles. And it really means that a lot of them are the most probably will not survive. This is one thing. But another thing, yes, like the ocean is a source for our food and lives, like, and this is they kind of food, and then ocean is also creating the majority of oxygen on our planet. And what is happening right now, the scientists are finding that because of this enormous temperature, a lot of species either starting to migrate, and also a lot of species which are don't belong to this territory, they start to appear. And it's especially related to this dangerous algae. So at the different parts of ocean, like there is like poison algae, they are growing with enormous rates, and that happened in Chile, that happened in Norway, that happened in South Asia. That this like toxic algae, then they grow, they kill a lot of fishes, and like this farming of the fishes is getting impossible. And like and this algae, they kind of they have seeds which are sitting inside of this bottom of the ocean, and once the temperature is rising, these like algae start to grow more and more, and this like bad algae is a kind of replacing a good algae. And right now, like the scientists record that this population of the algae which produces oxygen, this is decreasing, but the amount of algae which is toxic, this is increasing. And this is definitely like it affects people, it affects like fish and all bigger animals.
Yeah, thank you for that. So we're gonna have to take our break now, but of course, stay tuned and wait for the second part when we will speak about the accumulation of energy in the system, and also discuss a bit about why people don't take those alarming information very serious. And to conclude, I think we will speak about the urgent call to action, because there's of course something to do and something to say, so that we are not be basically trapped or surprised by what we call in the 12 years the sorry called the disasters. So let's come back to the after the break, and we will stay on with Anastasia. Thank you.
Earth is facing a crisis. A crisis that we did not see coming. A crisis that we cannot stop. An unknown threat from outer space is heading our way. An external cosmic influence triggers changes within our planet. The core is going mad. Catastrophes on Earth are escalating. And we are totally unprepared. The world is divided. Some want to compete. Some want to fight. Some want to escape. But none of them can agree on what to do to prevent the impending global catastrophe that can destroy the whole civilization. The only way to stop this threat is to unite world's best scientists. But in a world where war and power are the only rules, that is impossible. There is a plan A and a plan B, but both plans are risky. Both plans are uncertain. Both plans demand a price. A price that will change our lives and the fate of humanity forever. It is time for us to pay the price. Now it is your turn to take action. Global crisis. Responsibility. Watch at creativesociety.com.
Welcome back to Society of Tomorrow, of course brought to you by Creative Society and Impulse Radio Africa. The channel will bring you the latest trend and latest news, will inform you about what is coming next. Live here from South Africa, Fourways, we're saying thank you for you to stay tuned and participate a lot to our discussion, and thank you for your email and support, and thank you for all of you to the continent who share this information and basically make sure that once for all we are not being surprised. So as announced in the first part, we spoke about different aspects. We spoke about the billion-dollar disaster happening. We saw about the storms. We spoke about the growing earthquake what we observe around the world and also growing in Africa. We observe some of them in South Africa already, and it's still growing. Spoke about the fact that is a pattern, is all connected, is not isolated case. And now we will move forward. We're speaking about the accumulation of energy within the system. So we would like to ask to our good honorable guest here, Anastasia, what do the creative society or the community, the scientific community, can tell us about the accumulation of energy within the system?
So like, yeah, accumulation of energy is the major cause for the current natural disasters. And we need to understand that any disaster is the release of energy. So like, just imagine like that you, for example, need to, I don't know, you have a tree growing on your backyard and you want to take out this tree and then to destroy it. How much energy do you need in order to do this? Then think about like the house, like in order to destroy house, how much energy do you need in order to kind of I don't know, to rip a house apart and to destroy it? And this is all disasters we are facing right now, like all these tornadoes, hurricanes, like strong winds. This is all integration, like it's essentially the sign of the energy, and this energy is increasing. So like the energy is currently like during the 12,000 year cycle, we have continuous source of energy which is coming from the cosmic influence, and it affects the earth core. And so like essentially like all this energy accumulation starts from the earth core, and then it's further transferred into the magma, and then it's transferred to the earth crust. And this is how we are start facing all these changes, and we start to observe all these changes. This is all like huge amount of energy. It's a, you know, like in a simple example, if you want to imagine, you can imagine if you are like cooking some I don't know, on some stove, and you would be like continuously cooking and cooking, like continuously heating your pot, right, without stopping. It will kind of, I don't know, that will either burn out or it will explode. And we are right now at this pot with a lot of different content, like a lot of different components, and it's continuously heating up. And so of course, like we will see what we observe, what we expect to see on the surface if we are just like continuously having this pumping energy inside of the system.
Okay, so so now moving on, and if I understand, this means right now there's an accumulation of energy, and do you think that is gonna get to the maximum, and we might see planet Earth disappear, for example?
Yes, so like I strongly encourage our viewers to go to a Creative Society Rumble channel, and there is a forum, Global Crisis Responsibility. And so like Tanguy was talking about this exponential growth when things are start really rising up. And so like if we extend all these graphs, and if we will kind of see how the progression will go, when we will see that just in 12 years, by 2036, we will be at the point when we will have like strong earthquake every day. And so like then these volcanic eruptions, they will be happening like continuously with a huge amount of force. So, and it's that by 2036, this energy will be accumulated so much, and it will be the point of like this final explosion. And like we described this like event, that event was first like calculated in the mathematical model, which was developed like 10 years ago by the top scientists. And this event really like includes the rupture of the earth crust and explosion at the deepest point of our planet at the Mariana Trench. And this event would be happening because the cold water, huge amount of cold water would meet this molten hot magma, and that will create the explosion, which we never faced before. And because of this explosion, like a whole atmosphere and part of water would be removed from the planet. And then like further destruction will be causing the stopping of the earth core. And this is all like result of enormous energy accumulation inside of our planet. But the good things
Wow.
are is that we still can't stop it. We talk about it because we still have chance to stop it, and it's very serious.
Okay, thank you. So, but how come if this is known and people, I can see it's very critical, we are in a critical phase of our history in terms of humanity, but still people have difficulty to cope with that and refuse to take an alarming trend seriously. Why are they so, it's so difficult for people today to take these trends very seriously, according to you?
Is it, like it's hard to say, but I think one of the reasons is that people tend to think that what I can do, I'm not a scientist, I'm ordinary person, I don't know how to explain it, I'm not sure. What if you are not right? What if you are mistaken? It's that, like we tend to kind of to think that if like this is not my question, this needs to be solved by scientists, by government, and people really kind of, they really don't we used to kind of don't take responsibility in these actions. And if like the fact is that when all 8 billion people will really understand that this is, nobody is going to help, nobody is going to take it seriously until we start to talk about it. And like, I mean, your Impulse Radio are showing really brilliant examples that you are bringing this topic, you're really bravely talking about it, you engage people. And like the thing is that if we want to see the change, then we need to start acting. Then we need to start preparing. And I think another thing is that, at least what I see, I have really good friends. They are all educated, like, I don't know, relatively good, like in terms of income. And they really don't want to have it. It's very scary to think that you have only 4 to 6 years left, because it means that you need to change your plans, you need to change your behavior. And a lot of people, I think, really simply prefer to live as it is, with a hope as it will be somehow magically resolved. But that's not the case. We really need to take responsibility and to make the actions.
Yes, thank you for that. So, in terms of the 12, the cycle, the end of the cycle of planet Earth, I would like to ask you, as a part of the community, the scientific community, and this is many people ask the same question every time and say, is it possible to fight a natural catastrophe, knowing that the world already went through few of them and we saw dispersion of different species? Is it a battle that you need to fight, or just follow the faith and say, let's see what's coming up? And what will you say to people who approach this matter like that?
Mm. Can you rephrase your question?
In terms of catastrophe and the planet cycles, we saw in our past history different catastrophe happening, the dinosaurs and all these things. I think that so far we're getting to the point where the planet reboots, some type of rebooting. So people are asking, must we fight it or must we leave it and just see what is coming next, because maybe it's part of God's plan? What do we have to say to people who have this type of approach?
Yeah, like we hear it all the time, but that it can be the part of the God's plan. But really few people know that the part of the God's plan was to have this kingdom of heaven here. And like when we all work together and we can like find how to protect our planet. In this case, we will be having access to the technology which we could not even dream about. And this will be like really the start of a new civilization. So like what I always tell to people, that just, I don't know, if God will save us, or like this is a part of the God plan, is that first of all, if we even remember this Noah flood, then the God really gave Noah, he let Noah know that the flood is coming. He did not send him any boat. The Noah had to build this boat by himself, and he had to save him by himself. And if it is a part of the plan, then we also right now, we know that the disasters are coming, and we have this chance to work together and to build this protection for the planet. This is definitely the God's plan. Do you really want that loving God does not want us to survive, or what? Do you really want that to think that God wants like to destroy the earth? I mean, this all what happening to the earth, like all this like ocean contamination, that's all happened because of us, because of our free choice. And we should be really consciously thinking that in order God's still giving us chance to change things. So, and this is like really, I don't know, if we build this arc, we are doing that together. But like right now, it's a kind of different conditions we need to deal with the technology. It's not just building a big ship.
Mm. Yes, thank you. Thank you for this approach. And to close the show, because of the running out of the time also, what will be the call to action from the creative society beside the fact that you need to unite and work together? What will be another type of call of action from you guys?
Yeah, this is a very important question. Like, what, first of all, people need to do. And right now, it is important that all people need to think about their safety. So the main idea of the creative society is that the human life should be the highest value. And for every one of us, like taking care of your life of your children, your family, this is the first thing. And in order to protect yourself, you really need to know what disasters are happening in your region. Just really look around, watching the news. Is that Creative Society has amazing channels where we post all these disasters happening in the world. It's a kind of very easy thing. Think like it can be the flood, for example, it can be hurricane, it can be heavy snow. How I prepare for it, just what I should have in at my house, like I don't know, all this water supply, like food supply, important things in case if it is get cold, like all these plans, we are discussing them in our live streams, in our like TikTok channels. That's all. Every person need to know how to protect him and his family and what disasters are happening. Then the second stage is that once we know that we are all protected, we start to talk to our neighbors in our communities that this is a thing, it is a coming. We are not going to be like, I don't know, somehow protected from this. We really need to start preparing. And then our neighbors are preparing. I don't know, our cities are preparing. In this case, we're kind of in a much better place. But that's all needs to be communicated. And another thing is that, yes, I think every person really need to understand that this is happening because of 12,000 years cycle, and we can have protection, but this protection will be possible if kind of we all start to share this information, that it can be built. It is a physical process. We really need scientists to work together. So I think like, yeah, really the plan is that take care, and first of all, understand what disasters are in your area. Second, be prepared. So to prepare for yourself, for your family, and for share with your community, that you like work together. And then the third stage is that really communicate with this information about the disasters with people around you, and that fact that we can be protected, that the solution can be found. I think this is the three important things that every person should know. And yeah, like, and if on the top of that you want to do something else, that's great, because like I don't know, we recently here in the United States, we have excellent program for community responders, that it's a kind of when neighbors help to neighbors in the case of natural disasters. And you really need to know what to do in this case, because a lot of people, like, I don't know, just dying because they were helping during the natural disasters to their neighbors because they were doing that unsafely. But it's really like these three things. First of all, like knowledge, preparedness, and sharing the information. I think these are really important.
Thank you. So in the case where people don't take it serious, what will be your personal fear? Can you share that with us before we say bye-bye?
My personal fear?
Yeah. In the case that people don't understand or take this information that we supply every week lightly? What will be your regret? What will be your fear?
Um, like if we talk about the fears, then my biggest fear is about my children, because this I understand that the children are the most vulnerable part of the society. And in the case if the disasters will develop as we right now, as if we don't do anything, we know how disasters will be developing, and it will be a lot of violence outside of the streets, and like children will be the first and easy targets, and all these like cases of cannibalism and all that thing, like children will be the first target. So like like in the case of when situation will escalate, I'm kind of, yes, a disaster can hit you, disaster can kill you, but I will be more afraid of the people who are hungry, who are angry, who have arms, who are armed, and what they can do to my children. So this is the biggest fear I have.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tanguy, for inviting, and thank you very much for sharing this message. It's very important. I really appreciate that. It's really great that Africa having such a protection and amazing informational source.
Earth is facing a crisis that we did not see coming, a crisis that we cannot stop. An unknown threat from outer space is heading our way. An external cosmic influence triggers changes within our planet. The core is going mad. Catastrophes on Earth are escalating, and we are totally unprepared. The world is divided. Some want to compete. Some want to fight. Some want to escape. But none of them can agree on what to do to prevent the impending global catastrophe that can destroy the whole civilization. The only way to stop this threat is to unite world's best scientists. But in a world where war and power are the only rules, that is impossible. There is a plan A and a plan B, but both plans are risky. Both plans are uncertain. Both plans demand a price. A price that will change our lives and the fate of humanity forever. It is time for us to pay the price. Now it is your turn to take action.